Hi, I'm voice of Bisbo Marathi and you can watch this same video in your language on our other Bisbo channels.
Invitations to the who's who had already been sent. These high-profile guests were to arrive on their private planes and be ferried by a fleet of 150 specially hired luxury cars to 2 5-star hotels in Jaisalmer that were booked exclusively for them, and take part in the wedding celebrations scheduled between January 15th to 18th. But instead of the groom coming riding on his horse, a posse of CBI inspectors arrived 2 days before Christmas of 2022, just 2 weeks before the marriage of their son was to take place, and arrested Padma Bhushan awardee Chanda Kochhar, the former ICICI Bank CEO, and her husband Deepak Kochhar, for giving a loan of 3,250 crore $650 million to the now bankrupt Videocon group and taking a kickback of 64 crore for it. Its owner, Venugopal Dhoot, was also arrested 3 days later on December 26, 2022. The story started unraveling in March 2016 when an anonymous whistleblower sent this information to the Prime Minister, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley and the board of ICICI. With no response forthcoming, 2 months later he sent another letter on May 11th. This time claiming the Kochhars also took 453 crore $90 million from the SR group as kickbacks. Unknown to the whistleblower, the CBI did kick off a preliminary inquiry into the matter after receiving the first letter itself. But since he did not receive any answer or even an acknowledgement to either letter, activist whistleblower Arvind Gupta posted all of this on his personal blog, leveling allegations of quid pro quo deals by Kochhar, which the mainstream media soon picked up, shocked as they were from the recent 13,000 crore $2 billion Nirav Modi scam. As media scrutiny increased, Chanda Kochhar backed out from being facilitated by President Ramnath Kovind at FICCI's Ladies' Annual Session. Yet the board continued to turn a blind eye to the allegations. Rumors are being spread to malign the bank. We have full faith in the bank's MD and CEO, Mrs. Chanda Kochhar. Prestigious law firm Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas apparently gave her a clean chit too.
Our internal inquiry with the leading law firm found no evidence of wrongdoing.
But the scenario changed after the CBI picked up Kochhar's brother-in-law, Rajiv Kochhar, for questioning. How come all your business is from companies that have taken loans from ICICI Bank? The bank could now no longer ignore the issue and appointed B.N. Sri Krishna, former Supreme Court judge, to lead an independent external probe into the allegations. But even before the report was ready, Kochhar stopped coming to work, which the bank at first called indefinite leave, meaning she would continue getting a salary of 3.5 crore per year. But an uproar finally forced the bank to terminate her employment, stopping all unpaid retirement benefits, moving the court to recover 10 crore worth of bonuses already paid to her, and to get back her ESOPs worth at least 60 crore. A move the court supported. You are hereby restrained from dealing with those 6.9 lakh shares until further orders. An order that left Kochhar distraught.
I am utterly disappointed, hurt and shocked by the decision.
Finally, in Jan 2019, a case was registered against the Kochhars and Venugopal Dhoot, detailing how Videocon's Dhoot and Chanda Kochhar's husband Deepak set up a new company, New Power, in December 2008, each with a 50-50 holding, after which Videocon applied for a loan of 3,250 crore $650 million from ICICI Bank. The meeting in August 2009, in which the decision to approve the loan was taken, was presided over by none other than Chanda Kochhar. 1 month later, on September 7th, once Dhoot got the loan from ICICI Bank, exactly a day later on September 8th, another company owned by Dhoot gave New Power a loan of 64 crore $12 million. A few years later, Dhoot quietly sold his 50% stake worth 32 crore in New Power to a shell trust controlled by Deepak Kochhar for 2.5 lakhs $5,000, and then exited completely from New Power by resigning. As part of another quid pro quo, in 2016, Videocon transferred a 5.3 crore flat to a family trust of Deepak Kochhar for just 11 lakh rupees. The SR Group quid pro quo case is something like this. SR Group's vice chairman Ravi Ruya's daughter Smita Ruya and her husband Nishan Kanoria own Mauritius-based First Land Holdings, which gave the same New Power a loan of 453 crore $75 million in 2010. at 0.001% interest. That is 1 rupee as interest per year per lakh, or rupees 100 for 1 crore. The total interest for the whole year for a 453 crore loan was just $750. This was done in exchange for sanctioning a loan of 5,720 crore, 880 million for the now bankrupt steel project in Minnesota, USA and its UK refinery in Stanlow. When Chanda Kochhar took over as head of ICICI Bank, it was the second largest behind SBI and the largest amongst its private sector peers. By the time she stepped down, it had slipped to a distant third spot behind HDFC Bank. It seems she didn't have the Midas touch. Everything she touched, instead of turning into gold, turned into a non-performing asset. Under Kochhar's term, ICICI's NPAs or bad loans rose from $1.5 billion in March 2009 to $7.75 billion by the end of March 2018. Other whistleblowers pointed out that ICICI Bank hid bad loans of 31 defaulting companies in order to show higher profits during 2008-2016. While yet another Singapore-based whistleblower alleged how a Kochhar-controlled company took kickbacks in the form of advisory and consultancy fees, using a modus operandi that even Yes Bank adopted when it defaulted by giving loans to known defaulter corporate groups in exchange for kickbacks. Notice how all these companies are large defaulters to the tune of at least 140,000 crore, $20 billion. So when all this information was available to the CBI in 2018, why did they not arrest her then? Why suddenly now, days before her son's wedding? Chitra Ramakrishna was arrested soon after the NSE co-location scam broke, but Kochhar was not. Both of these elegantly sari-clad women were widely acknowledged as one of the few women in India Inc. to break the glass ceiling, but whose fall from grace has come as a major disappointment to young women professionals looking for role models. Kochhar was a protege of the highly respected and influential KV Kamath, one of the two peacemakers between the Ambani brothers. And it seemed that she felt secure enough to avoid arrest until now, even obtaining relief from the ED in 2020. So what went wrong? We of course can only speculate, but with Nirav Modi's expected extradition not happening, did the government need to show it was being tough on scamsters? CBI claims that the Kochhars and the Dhoots never cooperated and avoided multiple attempts to put them face to face. Or are the Kochhars being arm-twisted to spill the beans on someone else the government wants to target? The charge under section 409 can be life imprisonment. Or was it a warning to other bankers in the private sector to stay away from dubious loans with public money, as section 409 applies to them as well? More likely, it was the government giving the scam-tainted a signal to tone down their opulent display of ill-gotten wealth. A celebration that will surely be subdued now after Chanda Kochhar's 19-day stint in Mumbai's Baikala Women's Jail. Bisbo's limerick. There was once a woman who rose to the top, heading a bank and winning whatnot. But beneath the glitz was a kickback blitz. She may have cooled her heels, but the moolah's not stopped. You will also find these sources listed in our video description section.